I'm just doing a random Northlands daily and Just Smokeskin just dropped me a purple Earth Scroll. And the purple offhands are so stupidly rare I had to turn on the recorder just for this. For some context, I just finished the episode where I had to do over 100 char runs. And during the course of those 100 char runs, I got one singular purple offhand item. And just now doing one char run for a daily after this one, we got a purple Earth Scroll. So that is the new unique for our spreadsheet. Anyways, hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the Presearing Grail, which is a series where I try to find every single item in Presearing and I track them in a spreadsheet that I will show you in a second because there have been some changes to it. But first and foremost, in today's episode I will be doing a little less collecting and a bit more general, a bunch of different stuff. This video will be all over the place, hope that's alright. And the main theme of this episode is I would like to get rank 3 survivor on my character this year. That's been a goal I've been striding towards for the past 5 or 6 years, and to get rank 3 survivor you need 1,337,000 experience since your last death, or without dying at all. And I have 1,221,000 experience since my one singular death, so quick math tells us that's 116,000 XP left. And if I go and check how many days are left in 2024, today is 20th of September when I'm recording this, we have 102 days, which means I am 2 weeks, 14 days behind, because my main way of getting experience is doing the daily for 1000 XP a day. And if I do just that until the end of the year, I will be 2 weeks too late. So the main theme for this episode will be grinding experience. I will be grinding experience, trying to catch up. We need to get 14,000 experience, but since this probably will take longer than a day, I will be doing dailies in the meantime, so I just need to get back on track and have the remaining experience be a multiply of 1,000 of the days left in 2024. Hope that's understandable. I hope you'll enjoy. But before we move on to the experience part, let me talk a little bit about the spreadsheet. As I said, there have been some changes. Namely, you might remember that I was just one blue item short of completing the blues section, and now it's 3. I moved 2 items around from the purple section to the blues, namely the hatchet and the tribal blade. It was a weird situation where, let me zoom out a bit because the purple section is massive, where I had every single axe and every single sword in so many char runs that I've done, except for the hatchet and the tribal blade. And I asked around on the Presearing Discord, and the consensus was that those 2 items, even though they can be dropped by char, they don't drop as purple. I don't have any definite proof that they don't, but nobody I asked was able to produce a purple hatchet or a purple tribal blade, so I will be just sticking them in the blues section. That's what the blues section looks like right now. We have the tribal blade and the hatchet here. There's a high likelihood we will be finishing them relatively easily because blues are generally quite easy to get apart from the dead staves. So that was the main shuffle all around. The total number of items didn't change because I just moved them from the purples to blues, and we are still 85% completed. Also, since we're looking at the spreadsheet, I just wanted to quickly showcase that we need 19 purples still, and apart from the rules and insignias and the blues, this is by far the highest number of items we need in a section. And since we have completed axes and swords by the virtue of moving them to the blues section, I just need 3 hammers and 2 staves, and then it's all offhands, and that just again showcases how stupidly rare offhands are. And one more thing I wanted to do before we move on. The last episode was me gathering and identifying 100 armors to complete the runes and insignia section, and sadly we were not successful. I still need 3 runes, the domination magic, beast mastery and marksmanship, and since the last episode I did some char runs and I have 10 more, so fingers crossed we can finish that section. Domination, beast mastery or marksmanship is what I'm looking for. No luck in the first half, that's air magic. blood magic, and the last one is attunement. No luck. And with that out of the way, it's time to move on to the main topic of the video, which is of course grinding experience on my way to Legendary Survivor in Presearing. And for the sake of completion, I thought it would be nice to quickly talk about every single viable method that I know that you can get experience at level 20 without dying, and we're gonna start off with the one method that everyone will be doing if you're trying to get the Legendary Survivor, which is of course daily quests. You get daily quests from Lieutenant Langmar in Ascalon. They reset, well, every single day, and you get 1000 experience for completing them, which is a lot. Plus any additional experience you get from monsters you kill along the way, which ends up being between 200 to 500 additional experience depending on the quest and the layout. But that is if you do them solo at level 20. I don't. I group up with my level 10 alt on my secondary character, and that is to lower the levels of the enemies that spawn. This causes them to give me no XP, so I only get the clean 1000 XP a day for the quest reward, but also reduces the risk drastically. For example, today's daily is Countess Nadia, and if I do it solo at level 20, that has a relatively decent chance of killing me if I don't pay attention, or I lag, or even just get an unlucky spike. And the road to Legendary Survivor takes a long time, so I want to minimize the risk as much as possible, even if that means losing on the additional experience. But what if you complete your daily quest, you get your 1000 experience, and you still want to get more during your day? Well, then you have to start grinding, and the most popular grinding method in Presearing is Farmer Hamnet Bandits. That requires the quest Vanguard Rescue Farmer Hamnet, which is of course one out of the 9 quests. So what do you do if it's not Hamnet Day and you want to farm Hamnet Bandits? Of course, you have to use a secondary account, a character at least level 17 or higher that always holds the Farmer Hamnet quest, and then you just party up with them and you have access to high-level bandits anytime. The issue is, my alt is not level 17, my alt is level 14, so we need to level her up to 17 so I can start giving the bandits to my main, which means to be able to grind, I need to grind on another character, which is pretty poetic and also very sad because I don't like doing this, but oh well, let's showcase the method on that character then. So we will be interrupting my ranger's adventures with leveling my alt up to level 17, and farming Hamnet Bandits solo is pretty straightforward, but it requires a little bit of a setup before we can get started. First I will type /resign in the chat and copy it to my clipboard just so I can paste it really fast if I need to resign quickly, and then I will be leaving Foible's Fair, entering the Wizard's Folly, then turning around and returning here again. This sets up my respawn point after I resign closer to the exit, so just we can press X to turn around and R to auto run, and we can reset our runs quickly this way. The method itself is very straightforward, and since my character is only level 14, it should be a very quick grind as well, since we will be getting a good chunk of experience per bandit, and also we can use the Igneous Summoning Stone to summon the Imp. And both of those are not true at level 20, you cannot use Imp anymore of course, and bandits only give 16 XP, but thankfully for this short little grind we will be getting a lot more. So all you do is you just kill the bandits, they either come as raiders, which are melee, or as elementalists, then you resign, rinse and repeat. Resigning will give you a death animation, but don't worry, this isn't actually a death, it doesn't count, it won't break your survivor streak. And there is also a monk here that will keep healing you, so you don't actually need to heal yourself, although it's still safer to do so. Here's level 15. At level 14, these bandits gave 48 XP each. Now at level 15, they give 32 XP each. And now, at level 16, they only give 16 experience each, so that's my cue to go ahead and do all the quests to zoom past this hell level. I have picked Monk as a secondary profession on this character already, it's locked in, but I made sure in the past to complete all of the profession introductory quests, so here is Necromancer's Novice completed, for example. Item is called a bottle of grog, but it's clearly a mug, literally unplayable. There's a quest that's hidden a little bit, it doesn't have the immediate green exclamation point like other quests do, and it requires you to listen to a conversation between Captain Osric and Prince Rurik about Althea, and after it's done, you will be given a quest by Captain Osric named A Gift for Althea, where he requests you to find 3 beautiful items that Rurik can give to Althea as a gift. Actually, he asks you to find 1, but the first 2 you find, he says they are not good enough. You have to find a beautiful feather, beautiful pendant, and a beautiful pearl. But what you can also do is you can be a little snitch and go to Althea with just 1 item and complete the quest that way. But we will be good guys and we will complete the quest as intended in the name of love. If you're a monk as your primary or secondary, you can accept the quest The Blessings of Balthazar, which spawns a few additional skeletons in the worm fields out here. To my knowledge, it doesn't reduce the amount of worms, so it's just additional monsters, and they have this farm where I go and farm the bandits over there and then I AFK the worms with my imp. So I thought that this might be pretty useful to just have some more monsters for imp to farm, more potential event items. But I tested it out in a few runs and it doesn't work that well, so sadly there's no improvement to the perfect farm. And here is the Hunter's Horn quest completed, which will be the last quest that I'll be doing, and completing all of them got me 83% of the way to level 17, which is roughly what you should also expect if you do all of the quests. A bit more if you also do the Bandit Trade and Protection Prayers quests. I decided to leave those uncompleted so I can do the Bandit farm. And even a little more if you're not an Elementalist, because the profession quests vary a little bit in terms of experience depending on your profession, with Elementalists and Mesmers getting the least and Necromancers getting the most, so that is additional 500 XP difference. And that's the long-awaited level 17, which means the bandits that will now spawn will be in the highest level bracket and I will finally be able to get experience on my main. Now, when I'll be doing this method on a ranger in a 2-person squad, there will be some differences compared to when I was just doing it on my elementalist, and first and foremost, I will be trying to upkeep Healing Breeze and Shielding Hands on myself as much as possible. Even though the Academy Monk is here, she's not a perfectly reliable healer and I don't want to risk dying even one bit. And secondly, I will not be using the resign method to reset the runs, since there is 2 characters in an instance now. They both would have to press resign and that's just way too much clicking, so instead I will just be alt-tabbing to my alt, pressing X and clicking R to reset back to Foible's Fair, then X and R to reset the run again. Of course, there will be differences in firepower too. As a ranger, I'm pretty strong, but it's not Firestorm level strong. I can't hit 2 targets at the same time, so we will be slower in that regard compared to what I was just getting on the Elementalist. And I also cannot use Imp at level 20, so we will be even slower. I need to get 14,000 XP, so with 16 XP per bandit, that's 32 XP per run. I need to do 438 runs of this. And they should approximately take a minute, so we will be doing this for a while. And actually, I've never done a proper test of a clean 1 hour of just doing Hamnet Bandits to see how much XP I'll get. So I will note my starting experience and set a timer for exactly 1 hour, and we will see how much XP I can get of 1 hour of doing Farmer Hamnet Bandits. That was the alarm, hopefully it wasn't too loud, and that means the entire 1 hour is now over. So in that time we started with, let me quickly check, 1,575,769 experience, and I'm finishing with 1,577,817. So that is exactly 2,048 XP that I've obtained in 1 hour, so we can round it down to 2000 XP per hour. I think that's pretty obtainable for a casual player. I wasn't super focusing, I was decently focused, but I was watching a series on the side. I think that's pretty reasonable, and also if you focus super hard, you could probably get a little bit more, maybe like 2100, maybe 2200. There are some strategies that I could use more optimally, like focused on baiting frenzies from the raiders, but I didn't really do that. I just sorta mentally AFK'd because otherwise this grind just breaks you. Anyways, that's 2000 XP gotten, 12k to go, so I will just continue doing this, I guess. Something that I forgot to mention is that the 2000 XP per hour number is of course heavily dependent on your profession. For example, rangers, while being good defensively, aren't the highest DPS when it comes to bandits, so other professions like elementalists and especially mesmers will be able to get much higher results than that. And speaking of methods dependent on your profession, there is one method that is faster than bandits, but it's so dependent on what profession you have, it's actually slower if you're not perfect profession for it. And coincidentally, it's today's daily, which is Mutiny Whoop Whoop. The daily spawns a monk boss, and if you're not an elementalist or a mesmer, you just kill it so slowly that it's faster to do bandits, but if you do it on an elementalist with Firestorm, which is very high DPS, or a mesmer, which can shut down the healing, you can actually get higher XP per hour than if you were doing bandits. So those professions definitely win when it comes to getting experience in Presearing. Technically, necromancers could spawn a high army of undead and be able to take down Mutiny decently fast. And technically, warriors could use a hammer swap to knock them down while they're healing, but in reality, it's still probably not a great way to do it, and both rangers and monks just don't have any tools to deal with the healing and the kill turns out too slow, so since I'm a ranger monk, I'm out of luck. And there's one last method that I think deserves a mention, although I haven't tested it thoroughly myself. It requires an alt and it relies on combining the Charred Champions quest with either Blazefin Griefblade or Footman Tate. What happens is you spawn an additional bunch of char in the Northlands that you can kill alongside your regular char runs to get some XP along the way, but it's not passive since the char that give loot and char that are from the quests are two separate entities. So what ends up happening is you have your regular char that will drop loot but will give you no experience, and then you also kill the char that give you experience but will give you no loot. So it's not the fastest for loot and it's not the fastest for experience. It's just something to break up the monotony if you're done with every single other method. So there you have it, that's a quick overview of every common method of obtaining XP in Presearing at level 20. You have your bandits and your daily quest as a bread and butter for everyone. Then you have your Mutiny for elementalists and mesmers. And you have the char methods if you're bored out of your mind and you want to do something else. But I would encourage you to try out different methods, especially if you're at the beginning of your Legendary Survivor journey. For example, if you're a monk player, you might find some success in the catacombs since undead take double damage from holy spells, but I would still advise caution since the undead quests are in my opinion the most dangerous ones. As for myself, I will stick for the bandits for now, but once I get my Legendary Survivor, I will definitely try out some different methods. Wake up honey, a new bandits tag just dropped. So what I started testing out is using my alt to cast Retribution on my main. At first I thought this will for sure cause the experience to split, but as it turns out, that's just not the case. So I maxed out Smiting Prayers on my alt and the spell now reflects 33% damage back to the attacker up to 17 with 12 points in Smiting Prayers. This isn't anything crazy and it doesn't work on spells, but I can cast it 0 time while my main is already running, so I might as well do it if I feel like putting in some extra effort. And after a few days of straight up not having a good time, this will be the last bandit run because today is 26th of September, which means there is 96 days left in the year. And now, after cleaning up this last bandit scam, I have 95,980 experience left to get Legendary Survivor title, which is enough if I only do daily quests for the rest of the year to reach the title without any more bandit grinding. Granted, I will probably do a little more bandit grinding just so I don't have to get the title during the New Year's, but the main goal of the video is now completed. I'm back on track to get the Legendary Survivor this year. So with that done, I think it's a good moment to wrap up the video. There was a little less collecting than usual for a Grail episode, but we did get that purple Earth scroll, which is new, so I'm counting that as a win. And less than 100k for a legendary survivor, man. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.